Hello everyone, welcome to a new deep analysis for Bitcoin price prediction, and starting here on the monthly chart where we are looking to our cycles for every 4 years. We are looking of course for each cycle to an impulse towards the upside. And every time this impulse towards the upside reaches the same almost fib level as 0.618 for every single high that we did for Bitcoin for every cycle. And if you look at our current cycle where we are now exactly on the 0.618, and even we have overshooted a little bit now, it can be overshooted even before we saw this repeating as well here and there. But this time we need even to reach higher because of course we need to reach this parabolic curve that we have for all the previous cycles where the high has of course reversed and started the bear run. Now the bear run, it might start of course once we reach this curve, parabolic curve, it might be our resistance of course, and we might start to move for our bearish scenarios. This is the only available one so far because there is nothing yet to be of course scared of for a bearish scenario. We did not finish even the wave 5 yet, so of course we are expecting a little bit higher and then starting to move down for a bearish cycle soon or later, of course, once we hit this curve channel. Now, this was, of course, for the monthly chart, and we are still looking for higher prices. I would like to mention that, of course, we have topped even much more closer than ever, where we can see, of course, every cycle we top for Bitcoin a little bit earlier than each previous cycle. This time we have, we gonna top also even earlier than the previous one. So yeah, the thing is that Bitcoin is accelerating its movement. This is the thing that we realize from here. It is accelerating its trend towards the upside. Each cycle, of course, we see higher and higher prices, but this time even faster. And that brings us, of course, to a scenario on the daily where we gonna have, of course, for a faster time for a new all-time high, of course, that it might unfold, of course, and that is not the scenario that we saw in the last weeks. So starting in the scenarios, let's move, of course, on the daily charts here where we have those scenarios. Now, our normal scenarios that we are working on since at the start of those triple 1-2s here, where we see in the wave 5 on the daily, we are, of course, in our cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and looking for higher prices even for a wave 5, where your wave 5 might be even extended more than your wave 3 since your wave 3 has reached only the 1.618 taken from the start of the 1 to the bottom, of course, of your wave 2. So an extended wave 5 is a very, very possible. This is what I would like to say in this scenario, of course, and it might be higher than your wave 3. Now, looking, of course, at this scenario that we talk about it, where we have a triple 1-2s, we might, of course, have triple 4-5, as we can see here in the top. We have almost finished our main explosive wave 3 towards the upside, and we're looking at 4-5, 4-5, and 4-5 to finish a bigger wave 5 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So very, very impulsive with a lot of 5s here. So I would like, before I move on with this, I would like also to show our trending channels where we are looking here to this price action, this beautiful price action for Bitcoin, where we have broken our corrective channel here with a blue channel where we see, of course, a rejection here first, and then another rejection, and then, of course, a very massive explosive wave towards the upside, which is your wave 3 after 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3 towards the upside. We are still arranging now around the midline of this lower part of the acceleration channel, and of course we might retest it even and then move, of course, one more time to retest, of course, this time the mid channel of this acceleration channel, of course, and then ranging all around. This is my expectation. All the 4-5 should range around this lower part of the acceleration channel. We might, of course, break it and go back sometimes, but it is, of course, unlikely to move higher than this. So, back to our scenario in the daily here, our normal scenario where we have, of course, those triple 1-2s. In the triple 1-2s, you are looking at 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, right? And then you have finished probably a wave 3 here. And I'm saying probably because this wave 2 here that you are looking at, which is in green actually, but it should be in red. But of course, because it is a very, very impulsive wave 3, which is the main wave 3 of your triple 1-2s here, you are looking, of course, at a very shallow wave 2 and then 3, 4, and a 5, finishing a wave 3, of course, in your wide scenario. Now, because this is very shallow and this is very shallow, of course, a very decisive correction, it is necessarily to have, of course, in this zone. And of course, this is your wave 4 in the wide scenario where you would like, of course, to have, of course, a similar time at least for your wave 2 here with your wave 4. Now, of course, if you see here the number of candles, it is very close to this correction in wave 2, but the bottom of this wave 4 is not exact with the bottom of your wave 2. So you have, of course, bottom before the 1-to-1 fib level, fib time taken, of course, from the wave 2. And you still need, of course, another bottom right now after the wave, the fib time of the wave 2 to, of course, consider that this is a very decisive wave 4 and to move on for higher prices. By all means, what I am expecting, of course, for the next week or even for starting from the weekend, for lower prices to finish this correction and then moving up towards the upside. And I think the last deep analysis I have mentioned that this range is gonna be for this week. Of course, in this zone area, we need to range for a week almost to finish this correction related to your wave 2 here. Now, this scenario might bring us, of course, for very high prices, maybe 150K, right? But this is gonna need, of course, much more time to reach, of course, the 150. And then because if you have triple 1-2s here and you started your first a 4 and a 5, now we are looking for this wave 4 corrective, which should be at least the same time or even double time your wave 2, and then moving towards the upside with the same price of your wave 1 and time almost taken from your wave 1 to the top here, which it gives us almost as this price action. After that, you would like to have another wave 4 in the orange scenario where your wave 2 even is longer in time. Therefore, we might even range longer in time again for a wave 4 in orange for 2 weeks here. And then, of course, we're going to move towards the upside, of course, with almost the same amount in price for your wave 1 in the orange scenario that we can see almost here as well, right? Now, after that, this is your last 4, because your wave 4 here, your wave 2 is very sharp and very deep. Your wave 4 might be a sideways correction. It might be a triangle or it might be a flat, but it might not be very deep as this one. It might, of course, go sideways, but it's gonna take, of course, a longer time because this also needs over than a 2 week, I think 2 weeks, of course, to move to the final wave, which is, of course, taken from your wave 1 price and time almost to finish this impulse in a bigger wave 5 for this cycle. And therefore, we might reach almost the 150K for a Bitcoin taken from the price action started from here 1-2-1-2, and then considering that we have topped here for wave 3 and we are starting here the 4-5s, 4-5s. So these 4-5s, triple 4-5s might bring us from 100K to 150K, but it's gonna need a time, of course, to reach this. And this time might be, of course, until April 2025. Now, this is a scenario where it's going to take much more higher time. Now, there is another scenario, as I told you, that it might bring us also to 140K almost, but in a closer time. And this scenario is the following. We have a diagonal here, right? If you remember, it is still optional, of course. I mean, it's maybe less possibility, but still a possibility. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish the diagonal with the perfect fibs for every single wave of this diagonal. And therefore, this is still a valid possibility. The only problem that I have with this possibility is your wave 2. Because considering that this is your wave 1, your wave 2 is very shallow in time and in price as well. And of course, taking this wave 2 fib level from here to here, we can see that even it did not reach the 0.38. And this is the biggest problem that I have with this scenario, which it gives, of course, a less possibility, right? Now, remember, we did not see even just a very shallow wave 2 here, and it's still considered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now, it can happen the same, but in a bigger time frame, right? So that's why Bitcoin can do this, right? But it is less possibility still than the previous scenario. Now, in that case scenario, if that happened, if this is a 1, 2, and then we are looking to a finished wave, a 3 here, sorry, it cannot be finished even, where you have even a bigger 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, okay? So what I mean here, this was all your wave 1, a very extended wave 1 for an impulse, and you have now a wave 2, and then probably continuing 3, 4, 5, where your 3 is not the shortest between the 1 and the 5, and that might finish, of course, a wave 3 around the 128K. So this is a very, very normal impulse here that we are looking at, that it might unfold because of the very, very shallow price action here. We don't see any kind of correction. Now, internally, okay, we can find it, but it's very, very shallow, right? So if we want to consider this as whole wave 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5 to finish a wave 3 here, then your wave 4 is going to be, of course, maybe longer double time than your wave 2, right? And it may be deeper, but it's gonna move even faster again for a wave 5, which it can be finished, of course, even shorter a little bit, around 140K for Bitcoin. So this scenario is still available, right? It can still be considered as a 1, 2, as a diagonal here, but with low possibility. And we are expecting a higher wave 3, and then, of course, a 4 and a 5 towards the upside. Now, the difference between this scenario again and the other scenario, I can show it exactly to you. This is your ending wave 5 here, right? For the fast scenario that we might, of course, reach a very, very high here. And this is your longer time scenario where we might range even longer until April 2025 to reach the same almost price, maybe more or less 5 to 10Ks for Bitcoin. So yeah, these are the only possibility actually that I found still eligible for this scenario, because of course we are looking as well for if we are looking for another scenario as bullish, there is no other scenario. I tried hard to find another one by considering, for example, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now it can happen, right? You could happen a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 after 1, 2. So by all means, you have just double 1, 2. Yeah. And this is, of course, this is also like 1, 2, and this is 3, 4, and a 5. But the only problem here, which is not allowed as a rule, is, okay, perfect. The wave 4 did not interfere with your wave 1 zone, which is a perfect impulse. And your wave 3 here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4, and then 5, extended wave 5. That's totally fine. The only problem is that when you take the fib the fib level taken from here, and you have the 1-to-1 fib level, yeah, you will see that you did not reach the 1-to-1 fib level for a wave 3. And that means your wave 1 is longer than your wave 3. That's fine. Okay, so far it can be, but only if your wave 5 is shorter than your wave 3. But in that case, we have a very, very long wave 5. And therefore, invalidation of this possibility, we cannot have this one. Another possibility to find a bearish scenario, when you say, okay, I want to find a bearish scenario, what is the possibility? The only possibility that you are bearish from this top is that you finished a wave 5. Yeah. And by finishing a wave 5 means you have finished an impulse, of course, and you are ready to move towards the downside. So what is the possibility that this wave is a wave 5? In that case, that is two cases. Of course, you can consider your wave here as a wave 5. And as I told you before, it can be, of course, yeah, maybe here, if you want to consider a 1, 2, and then a 3, where is your 5 wave for your 3? Yeah, it cannot be considered. Another scenario that it could be a wave 5 is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 starting from here. And then this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, okay, and 3. So this all, if this is a diagonal, this is your 1, 2, and then 3. Then you have 4, 5. So you're still looking for higher prices. And by all means, that is no bearish scenario yet. That is only correction, small corrections related to those wave 2s here that we're gonna see it, of course, as well, ranging in the top. And that's it. Our only bearish scenario is the monthly parabolic curves. This is the closest bearish scenario, and I'm saying here bearish scenario, it means like a bear run. All right, so this is the only single scenario that I can find for the bearish. Now on the 1 hour chart, guys, if we go back to the 1 hour chart, we can see, of course, we are still ranging in this area, and as I said yesterday, we might, of course, be in a correction still, and basically we are still in a correction where we are looking to ABC and then ABC, of course, for a wave B, and we are looking for 5 waves toward the downside to finish this wave 4. And by all means, now you are, if we look at the 15-minute chart, you are here in a 1, 2, probably as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, where we see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Right? And then, of course, you are looking for a B, and a C as an expanding flat, probably finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice impulse, finished almost. And then starting to looking towards the downside, of course. And yeah, as I mentioned on the 1 hour chart, we might reach again the 0.23 fib level, which is at 90,762. And in that case, of course, we are corrective. We have finished our wave 4, and then we are ready to move towards the upside again. Now, in the lowest possibility, where you have bottomed already here for a wave 4 in the orange scenario, then you have bottomed, of course, less than your 1-to-1 fib time taken from your wave 2 in the orange scenario here, right? Which is a very, very low possibility. And that's why I think that we might still move towards the downside. Now, if you have, okay, if Bitcoin decided, okay, I had enough correction and I'm ready to move up, and I mean the traders are ready to move up, and then of course we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 as an ending diagonal probably, right? Because of course we cannot consider this as double 1, 2s. There is no impulse in this wave and also no impulse in this wave. And we are simply looking at zigzags, right? Zigzag up, zigzag down, up and down, and one more up, of course, to finish almost a little bit higher, right? With an ending diagonal for this wave 5 in orange. And that means if you finish a wave 5 in orange, that gives Bitcoin a little bit a weakness, right? Because we would not like to see, of course, we can see an ending diagonal, but if you tell me the ending diagonal is going to be big like this, okay, it's a different scenario where you are looking to a zigzag up and then zigzag down, but you still want to move down on based on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, and then zigzag up and then down and then up. Yeah, so this is okay. That is fine as an ending diagonal. But finishing an ending diagonal like this, that would be a weakness for Bitcoin. And then, of course, we're going to see lower prices than expected for the all-time high. This is the whole thing. Yeah, so this is a bullish and bearish scenario between both, of course, on the 1 hour chart. So to recap, guys, on the 1 hour chart, we might have, of course, several possibilities. The bullish possibilities are that we have bottomed already here and we are ready to move up. We can move up already in a diagonal, ending diagonal, finishing a little bit higher and start to move down again for a new wave 4 in yellow. Another possibility as bullish, it can be that this is a zigzag up and we're looking for another zigzag down for a wave 2 and then zigzag up and zigzag down and finally one last up. And this is a different contracting diagonal. Of course, ending diagonal for a wave 5 in the orange scenario. Those are your bullish. Both are lower possibility, both because we have bottomed here before the 1-to-1 FIB time taken from the wave 2 in the orange scenario. Your bearish scenario is you have finished 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and you're looking for simply 5 waves down to reach back again to 90,760 and then start to move up again. So that was it for the deep analysis. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.